Like with the simulation demo before, I've imported my own character into the content browser. In the RADiCAL plugin, replace the room ID with the newly created live room ID, and then when you press Fetch Players, your own unique player is displayed. Drag your custom character into the player ID slot. Remember, if you wish to pose and position your character specifically, be sure to drag the custom character into the scene and add the character from the hierarchy into the player ID slot. Recording live animation data to the timeline can be done within the RADiCAL plugin. When you have connected to a scene, you will notice that there is a checkbox next to each player marked Bake. This refers to the baking of the animation data into the player, so check that. When you're ready to record your motions into Unity, press the Play Mode button at the top to enter the game view. When you're within the scene, you will notice your motions are being mapped to your custom character. If you choose not to use your own character, thus leaving the player ID slots empty, the data will be recorded to the default RADiCAL character instead. When ready to stop, press the Stop button. If you have recorded an animation segment and receive an error warning saying that no data could be captured, this is likely because the capture folder was either deleted or not created correctly. Within Assets, RADiCAL SDK, check that you have a folder named RADiCAL Character Animation. This is where the recorded data will be sent and stored. If it is not there, the recording will fail. To remedy this, you can simply create the folder and name it exactly as such. Then, when you record the data will be stored correctly. To play back your animation, from the content browser, navigate over to Assets, RADiCAL SDK, Prefabs, and RADiCAL Player Manager, and drag it into the scene. Whichever character you are wanting to bring this animation data to, bring them into the scene as well. Under the character you wish to have playback on, you will need to add a script. It can be located by pressing the Add Component and then searching for RADiCAL Animation Playback. Alternatively, you can drag and drop the script directly by going through the content browser through Assets, RADiCAL SDK, Scripts, Animation, and then selecting RADiCAL Animation Playback.cs. With the script attached to your game object, under the Playback object component, select the animation you wish the character to play back. Also, you have the options of Play on Start or Loop the animations you've recorded. The animations can be called via scripting, by calling Start Playback to start and then Stop Playback to stop the animations at any point during the game. For instance, in this script I have Start Playback and Stop Playback bound to the spacebar, meaning I can then manually start and stop the animations it's attached to while others are running independently through pressing the spacebar. It is of note that you can't directly edit the timeline of the recorded animation after it's been recorded. If there are elements you aren't happy with, you will need to shoot again or have someone help with the start and stopping of the animation recording through play mode. Within the RADiCAL Playback Manager prefab, below you will see a script called RADiCAL Player Manager. A game object is attached by default known as RADiCAL Character. It is crucial that you do not touch or change this game object as it will cause runtime error warnings. If you have changed this and wish to return, selecting the 3 pips to the side and selecting Reset will not return the prefab to default, as it will set the game object to empty. Instead, under Assets, RADiCAL SDK, Prefabs, drag the RADiCAL character into the field and the issue will resolve.